Alright, so once again, we're still in step two of creating our website, which is creating the web page. On the last video tutorial, we actually created a couple of web page, the student registration page and the student registration complete page using the master page. Okay, so now what we're going to do is to create navigational facilities in order to navigate from the home page into the student registration page and maybe design the student registration page along the way. Okay, so going back to Visual Studio, I have this. So navigating to default.aspx, I have a link here, hyperlink, and it says click here. But actually, how do you cause this link to proceed or to navigate to the student registration page? So you just click on navigate URL, and then here you'll see a tiny button with three dots. That's called the ellipsis. Click on that, and then you'll see that you can actually select the web page that this link will navigate to. So if I click this link here, I actually want to go to the student registration web page. So I click this and then click on OK. Okay. So now if I click on this link here, it's actually going to navigate to the student registration web page. So I can now start designing student registration.aspx. So I'm going to double click student registration.aspx. And alright, one of the most difficult things to do in a web application is to design it. So unlike a Windows form, wherein you can drag and drop controls to wherever you want in the form, web page is not it's not actually designed in a similar fashion. So I'm going to put my mouse here, click on that, and then press enter twice. Okay. Alright. So maybe here I'd like to write something. I'd like to write something like student registration student registration form. Alright, so that's my student registration form. And let me see if there's a way I can change that. No. Alright, this is a bit too small for me, so I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to create a label instead. Drag a label here. Okay. And then I'm going to change what's written on that label by changing the text property from the properties window. So yeah, let me write down student registration form. Alright, and here I can actually select the font and change the size. Okay, so I'll play around with sizes. What about large? Yeah. What about extra large? Alright, so right now I'm going to stick with extra large. And okay, one technique that I always use when designing a web page is that I always use HTML tables. Okay, so just look for HTML. Okay, HTML here. So take a look at that, HTML. I want to use a table. Okay, so I want to drag a table from this panel over here all the way here. Alright, but before that, I'll press enter so later on I can still add some controls down here. Okay, so I want to add my tables right here. Table, make sure it's under the HTML section because there are tables that are not HTML objects. So here. Alright, if I expand that a bit, you can see this is a table with 3 rows. Okay, 3 rows and 3 columns. Alright. For my purpose, I only want 2 columns, so I'll put my mouse here and then right click and then select delete and then select delete columns. Okay. Once again, let me do that again. Right click. Okay, wait until your mouse pointer changes to an arrow. Right click, delete columns, delete columns. Click on that, and now I only have 2 columns. Okay. Similarly, you can right click and select insert and It's up to you whether you're inserting rows or columns or yeah, whatever options you have here. All right. So, okay, I have like 5 fields, and therefore I wanted 5 rows. Okay, so I'm going to right click, insert, insert row below, and then right click again, insert, insert row below. Okay, so I'm just going to put my mouse here in this divider, and then drag this over to the left. Okay, drag this over to the left. All right, and then I'll start adding in labels. Okay, so once again, going back to the standard control toolbox, I'll drag a label. Okay, label. I'll drag 5 labels. Label. Okay, label, label, label. All right, and then using the properties window, I'll start changing those labels. Click on the label, and then you change what's written on it. Student ID. Okay, click on the next label, and then you put in something like last name. All right, click on the next label. Okay, click on and then type in first name. So what I'm doing is creating a label for each um, um, field that I have for my student table. Okay, so address, and then finally I have contact number, right? And what I'm going to do is highlight this entire thing, and then taking a look at the properties window, I have something called align property. Click on that, and then I'm going to click align to the right. Okay, so all these labels sticks to the right, and then once again I go to this sort of like divider and drag this over to the left. Okay, and then here on the right, these cells, I'm actually going to add text boxes for user entry. Okay, so text boxes, text box. Okay, another text box. Oops, or you know what? Let's resize this text box. Resize. Okay, text box. Resize. Or actually, you can look at the width of this one. 304. Let's just make it flat 300, and then put 300 on the width of the other text boxes as well. So I'm going to just do this in assembly line fashion. Click on the text box and change the width to 300. Okay, for the address, I'm going to make it a bit longer. I'm going to set it to like 500 maybe. Okay, and then contact number, once again just 300. Okay, for each of these text boxes, you can actually set the maximum length. So for example, if student ID, you only want alright, if you want like only 8 digits, so you put 8. So only 8 characters can go in there. And here I believe I have nvarchar 100 as my database limit, so I'll set max length to 100. And first name also set to 100. I'm implementing 100 because 100 is the limit for the field in the database. Address also set it to 200 because I've set this to 200 in the database. And for contact numbers, like something like 20. Okay. And before we continue, I'd like to add, or not add, but rather rename these text boxes. Okay, the ID is actually the name of the text box. I'm changing this to txt student ID. Okay, the next I'm changing last name to txt last name. Okay, then I'm changing this to txt first name, and then this one to txt address, and this one to txt, oops, sorry, contact number, contact no. Okay, and now what I want to do is to create another table down here so that I can or maybe I don't need a table. So what I want to do is to press space bar here, space, 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 and then just create a bunch of spaces. All right, and then right after that, I want to create a button and drag it over to that place. Okay, so I now have a button there. I can change the name of the button, or not the name, but rather what's written on the button. Say register. All right, and then I just want to make this um, align to the text boxes up here. So let me add some more spaces to it until it's properly aligned. Oops, sorry. So that will be my student registration form. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And all right, the next tutorial will show us how to actually implement the student registration complete web page. Okay.